UPS is delusional to think that they can just ignore the workers who make them successful. When they finally decide to bargain in a professional and serious manner, the Teamsters will be here, ready to go.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
A little bit of an update about the UPS negotiations. Their contract with UPS, the largest private sector contract in the country. I think it is the largest contract with a single employer in the entire country, covering some 350,000 UPS workers. The contract expires on the 31st of July this year. And the International Brotherhood of Teamsters last week called on the United Parcel Service to stop stalling and begin negotiating in good faith. They contend that UPS is not seriously negotiating and not seriously committed to finalizing supplemental contract negotiations as soon as possible, saying that the company telling the company that bargaining for a new national agreement is not going to begin until all of the supplemental agreements are ratified. And so, you know, that is a stance, and it's not like they're just coming out with this stance now. That has been something that the International Brotherhood of Teamsters has told UPS from the beginning. They said from the beginning, this is the order that the contracts need to be negotiated in. We need to get ironed out all of the supplemental regional agreements, you know, between the locals and UPS before we begin bargaining on the national agreement. And that's been their position the whole time. And the Teamsters are saying that UPS is just not moving quickly enough to hammer out the final details on some of these supplemental contracts. And so they say that they began supplemental contract negotiations with UPS in January. And out of 40 supplements to the national contract nationwide, 30 remain unresolved after repeated delays by UPS. 75% of the supplemental contracts remain unresolved after 4 months of bargaining.
Wow. Well, that speaks for itself.
Yeah. Teamsters General President Sean O'Brien said, quote, "We have clearly stated our intentions to UPS from the beginning that there would be no national negotiations until these regional contracts are completed. This is not a game, but you wouldn't know that based on UPS's behavior. The livelihoods of our members are at stake. UPS delays, disappears, drags its feet, and refuses to talk about the real issues that workers need addressed, and the Teamsters aren't going to stand for it." Like I said, more than 340,000 Teamsters work at UPS, protected by the largest private sector collective bargaining agreement in North America, and the current 5-year agreement expires on July 31st, 2023. And UPS Teamsters are also covered under supplemental agreements. And so here in their press release, they describe kind of what these supplemental agreements are. They're riders or addendums specific to the regions in which these UPSers work. These contracts define provisions not covered under the national agreement, like paid time off, discipline language, seniority, overtime, and work hours. From the Teamsters General Secretary Fred Zuckerman, the Teamsters and UPS have 12 weeks to come to terms before our contract expires, and UPS is not taking this seriously. UPS has had 4 months to bargain in good faith and reach agreement on supplemental issues. They haven't. They don't get to drag out this process. We will be in Washington ready to reach agreement on all outstanding issues in our supplemental contracts. It's up to UPS to get its act together, show up, and do right by its workforce. Until then, there will be no negotiations on a national contract. Going back to O'Brien, he says after pulling in record-breaking revenue of more than $100 billion last year, UPS is delusional to think that they can just ignore the workers who make them successful. UPS is making a joke of supplemental negotiations. When they finally decide to bargain in a professional and serious manner, the Teamsters will be here ready to go. So we look forward to seeing more updates from them as negotiations on the supplemental contracts continue and the national contract negotiations begin. And hopefully we'll be getting some of these Teamsters on the show sometime to talk about it.
Yeah, and I think it's important, this statement that they put out, I think it was important to lay it out there for the public that, you know, this is what has been going on all this time. This is what we've been clear about, and it's UPS who's delaying things. I think that's important because, you know, we know where this could head later this summer. UPS
is going to try to blame it on the union. UPS is going to try to say that, oh, these workers have too much money. The multi-millionaire CEO is going to try to say that the workers are greedy and the workers aren't bargaining in good faith. And so it's important for folks to understand early on that those arguments are going to be BS.
Right. And, you know, they say all that while they won't even put air conditioners in the trucks.
Right. Or fans.
Right, right. And while they have a two-tier system. So, you know, there's a lot of progress that needs to be made, and I commend the Teamsters for this strong statement and, you know, wishing them all the best in these negotiations.
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.